welcome to my channel. I hope you all are doing fine. So in this video I'm going to recommend books that Suga has recommended or he was seen reading those books. One thing that I want to mention is that some of these books came directly from the mouth of Suga, like he has suggested those books, and some are like just he was seen reading those books. So just keep those things in mind, that just because he was seen reading those books doesn't mean that those books were his favorite. Being BTS fan is not just about music, it's about so many things, and one of the things is books also, because BTS read books and RM and Suga are the members who reads the most, and RM is of course more open about it and he reads a lot. But many people don't know that Suga also read books, and those are not just few books but many books. I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm going to just name of the book, genre, and about the book and plot, and not about my personal opinions, otherwise the video will get too long. So the first book is The Alchemist by Paula Coelho, and this book is already quite famous, so many of you might have already heard about this book or even read this book already. And the genre of this book is quest, fiction and adventure kind of book. Suga recommended this book for the Fifth Army Cafe. The book follows adventurous journey of a young boy named Santiago who dreams about finding treasure in an old church, and after a prediction that he heard from a fortune teller that he might find the treasure in an old pyramid of Egypt, so the boy goes there from Spain to Egypt. Along the way he came across several people who helps him and guides him about so many things. The book has exciting take on a journey of one's achieving their dream and essential wisdom of listening to our own heart. Yoongi likes this author, and the author himself has sent 7 signed copies of Korean version to all the members, as BTS songs are about self-discovery, realization, achieving dreams and love, self-love, and this book also talks about those similar things. So if you want to read a book from Suga's recommendation, then you should definitely read this book, because this book is really amazing and favorite of so many people. And the next book is About Her by Banana Yoshimoto. I don't know, I was not able to find any English version of this book. It's a Japanese book, and Suga was seen reading the Korean version, and I haven't found an English version, so of course I haven't read it, but I was able to find the plot of the book, so I'm just gonna give you that. Suga mentioned this book in an 2018's interview, some male business interview. This story is about 2 cousin sisters, Yumiko and Soichi. They were close as child, but they went to their separate paths as an adult, and they both have their own tragic experiences in life. This novella is about healing from troubled past with dark sides of family relationship, and also about how we are focusing on just one achievement and ignoring all the other aspects of life that we know we're gonna regret later. As I haven't seen any English version of this book, so I'm going to give you another such recommendation of the same author, as every author has a writing style and the way of thinking, and Banana Yoshimoto writes mostly about modern young Japanese women. So the book name is Kitchen by Banana Yoshimoto, which is literary fiction. The girl in this story is a free-spirited young woman who has this love for kitchens. Her parents are no more, and her grandmother was taking care of her, but unfortunately her grandmother also passed away recently, and she was taken in by a friend named Yoichi and his mother Iriko, who was actually his father. They became an improvised family, and which soon they met with tragic loss. This one talks about loneliness and being alone, all this kind of thing. And also there are so many perfectly written quotes in this book, like they are just so beautiful that I was literally reading them like twice or thrice to absorb them. The next book is Almond. This book's genre is mental health and is a psychological fiction. Yoongi was seen reading this book at BTS in the Soup season 1, and this book is also read by RM, and he has also said good things about this book. It's about a boy named Yeonjae who is suffering from a brain condition which is called alexithymia since birth, that's make it hard for him to feel emotions like anger and fear. His mother and grandmother looks after him, but a sudden tragedy leaves him alone and he retreats into silent isolation. However, he develops an unexpected bond with a boy named Gon, who was actually his bully, as they both found many common things between them and their life. This story is about the impact one can have from love, friendship and persistence. This is a Korean book which is very well translated into English. It is simple yet comforting kind of book, and if you want to read, you can definitely try all the books that I have mentioned here, all these books that I have mentioned. And and they are not too long. Like Almond is 250 pages and other books are less than like 200 pages. All these books are very amazing. Sometimes reading just non-fiction self-help books can get a bit boring, but in literature fictions they tells you about the same things in a form of story with self-healing elements. So yeah, you can definitely read these books if you don't want to read just self-help books because you found them boring. And I don't know, Japanese authors are just built different in this category, because I have read few of them and also the books that I've mentioned here. Now the books that I'm going to mention are non-fiction books. I do read non-fiction books, but only when I'm want to read or I want to learn about something. Most of the time I don't read non-fiction, so I'm not an expert on that, so I'm just gonna tell you about the books. So the next book is Reinventing Your Life by Jeffrey Young and Janet Kolsko. Yoongi was seen with this book during Bang Bang Con 2020 online concert. This book is written by two psychologists. This book is about freeing yourself from your self-destructive thoughts. This book contains 11 principles of cognitive therapy which can help people to change their negative mindset. This book talks about how we sometimes put others' needs before us, and also if you sometimes found yourself in relationship where the person is self-centered or misunderstands you or make you feel negative, except all these kind of things, you can try this one if you are struggling with these things, or if you just found this book interesting, maybe it can be helpful to you in the future, because psychology can be helpful in any time. The next book is The Courage to Be Disliked by Ichiro Kishimi and Fumite Koga. Yoongi was seen reading this book in BTS in the Soup Season 2. It teaches us about liberating our real selves and finding lasting happiness. Using the theory of Alfred, one of the biggest 19th century psychologists, the author has explained how we all are free to determine our own future and free ourselves from past, allowing us to develop courage to change and ignore the limitations that we or others have set in our mind. So this book teaches you that. The next book is Life Lessons by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and David Kessler. Yoongi was seen with this book in 2017 December, and the genre of this book is psychology. From the author of classic book Death and the Dying Lady, this book Life Lessons shows how one person faced death and then they realize the real meaning of living. It tells you to enjoy your life when you still have it. I have heard this thing like we don't know what living is until we face the death. This book kind of revolves around that, and if you are someone who likes to read about life and death or psychology as a whole, then you should definitely try this one, because this book seems very interesting and all these books are written by psychologists. And the next book is The Interpretations of Dreams by Sigmund Freud. Yoongi has mentioned this book in one of his 2020 FMV Live. Dreams, according to his theory, represents the hidden fulfillment of our unconscious wishes. This book is quite long and complex, but don't worry, the author has released a short version of this book with the names on dreams. One thing you have to know about this book is some of his theories were cancelled later on by some of the psychologists. He also mentioned that he's aware that some of his theories are refused later, but he just wanted to know the origin of this concept, so he just read this book and just said that yeah, he has read this book. And the next book is Slam Dunk, and Yoongi has mentioned this book many times in Run BTS episodes. Story centers around a high school student and a gang leader who turns into basketball player. And even if you are following Suga or BTS here, then you will know Suga likes basketball. So if you want to read manga suggested by Suga, or then you can definitely try this. And I think there's also an animation on this Slam Dunk, so you can also watch it. These were the books that I was able to find that Suga has read or mentioned. I was also able to find few more books, but I didn't found any proof that yeah, he has read this book, and I don't want to suggest book just on the basis that people are saying that he has read it. I can really say that all these suggestions are very great and amazing, and most all of them are quite famous book already. Also, one thing that I noticed is that the books that Suga read says a lot about him. I'm not trying to make any fact or anything here about him. It is just thing that I have noticed. The type of books that he read, the similarity between the books and his songs and his thought process are very similar. This books literally feels like, yeah, something that Suga will read or recommend, as most of these books are about psychology, self-realization, discovery, and love, loneliness, and all these things are mentioned in BTS songs or Suga's solo songs too. I don't exactly remember which video, but I remember watching one of his video almost a year back, that he has mentioned that he wants want to read, you know, books related to psychology, so that he can understand this concept of mind, behavior and mental health. He is very open about, you know, his mental struggles, which you can definitely see in his solo songs lyrics. I hope you have found some of the books for yourself from Suga's recommendation. I'm gonna make more of recommendation videos like this one, so stay tuned. And to connect with me, follow me on my Instagram. I'm very much active there. Check out my book blog, and see you in the next video. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, and bye bye. Purahe. Also, one thing is that I have made this thing. If you are following me on my Instagram, then you must have seen this one. I have painted this thing because I wanted to make something related to BTS. I have written here Burahe, and these shadows are from Spring Day, one of the most popular and favorite songs of BTS, in this ARMY and BTS logo. So yeah.